2016 was a very interesting day for me because it was my first time ever coming here to a Toastmasters club. When I had to introduce myself, I said that my reason for being here was because I was taking a public speaking class in college and thought that coming here would help with the class. At the time, that statement was only half true, as it wasn't the real reason for why I was there in the first place. So some of you may be wondering, what's a 19-year-old college student doing here, spending his Monday night with a bunch of old people? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm a Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and I can tell you about the real reason for why I'm here. And it all happened on accident. It all began on March 31st of last year, when I started my very first job as a delivery driver for Papa John's. When I started this job, it wasn't easy for me. But over time, I slowly got used to how everything went, and there are lots of benefits that came out of working there. I got to explore parts of Claremont that I never would have known beforehand. I occasionally got to see some old friends as I returned from delivery. For my birthday, my coworkers actually surprised me with a birthday cake when I came back for my first delivery. Nice. And best of all, getting any menu item that I want at half off. Everything was great. It was a fun job for me, and I thought that nothing could go wrong. But that all changed on June 10th when things literally took a turn for the worse. What seemed like an ordinary day in business, I ended up making a couple of mistakes. In the evening, as I'm ready to go on another delivery, I underestimated how far I should have backed my car up for my parking space. And as I'm ready to leave, I slowly turned my car into the back of another car parked next to me, slightly scratching it. My mind went blank at this moment, as I just realized what I had just done. I thought of two options. Either I can go back inside to tell the manager what happened, or I can continue with the delivery and tell the manager afterwards. Still panicking from the situation, I did the latter, not realizing that by doing so, I just committed a crime, a hit and run. I returned back to the store to be informed that I just missed a cop who was waiting for me. When the cop returns, I had to explain the situation that happened beforehand. When I finished, the cop said that he had the option to arrest me if he wanted to. Thankfully, he didn't, but instead, I'd have to go to court to settle this matter. And as for my job, I'd be put on work suspension until things were settled. 2 weeks later, I go to court to tell the judge of what happened. Noticing how I was speaking at a very low tone of voice and could barely get my words out, she asked me to speak up closer to her. When discussing what my sentence should be, she asked me if I'd ever heard of Toastmasters before. Since I didn't know what it was, she explained that it would help me with speaking more articulately, which is something I've been struggling with for the longest time. I accepted, and for the next 3 months, I'd be coming here every week to fulfill that sentence. At first, I thought that I just wanted to get this over with so I can get back to my job. But over time, I realized that I was actually improving, and I was getting better at speaking. And I thought at first that I would never be able to overcome this, since I could never speak without stuttering. And what I liked the most is how I was never penalized for speaking, but instead I was given advice on how to improve, which really helped out with the number, which shows in the number of ribbons I've won, and the number of newspaper articles I've been featured in. After my sentence was completed, I returned back to court on October 5th to show the judge of how everything went, displaying more confidence than I had before. Seeing all the evidence, she was greatly impressed at how much I've changed since my first visit. In fact, it was the best news that she's heard all day, especially after hearing the people before me and making excuses for their nefarious crimes. I signed some papers, I paid the court fee, and like that, I was finally free. As for my job at Papa John's, I decided to quit because despite how much fun I had, despite how much good came out of hitting another person's car, I don't want to get in trouble with the police again. So I made the right choice. But as for Toastmasters, before I said that I just wanted to get this over with and be done with it. But after experiencing how much I've changed over those months that I was required to go here, I think I'm going to stick around for a little while longer. And I'm Toastmaster.